Jadon Sancho is refusing to apologize to Erik ten Hag. He is not backing down from the stance that he has taken. He feels, and Sancho is understood, according to this report from James Ducker, that he feels to have been the victim of double standards at Manchester United. He believes there has been a notable inconsistencies with the way Ten Hag has applied certain rules in relation to him compared to his teammates. Whether this has come directly from Sancho or from a representation of his or a family member into James Ducker, the player is stating categorically that other people are arriving late to training. Other people are not meeting the standards in training. Other people are not putting the effort in. Remember, that is what he's being accused of by Erik ten Hag, not meeting standards and practices in training. So this has nothing to do with not scoring enough goals or getting enough assists or being out of shape. This is all about training and kind of off the field standards at the club. Sancho believes that others are breaking these rules as well, but they have not been kicked out of the squad. They have not been dropped from the first team. And of course, they have not been called out by the manager. He said Sancho is also unhappy that Ten Hag went public in the first place with his grievances. I want to get your opinions on this, people. It's a nuanced subject, and I do believe balance is needed. But I want to ascertain your opinions. I want to know what you think. Describe to me your opinions, your feelings, your emotions, your take on this situation. When that tweet was deleted a few short days ago, there was a feeling Sancho's backing down a bit. He's deleted the tweet. They'll reconcile. He'll come back in the team and have an opportunity. It's believed that Ten Hag went public as a last-ditch attempt to get the best out of Sancho. But Sancho hasn't taken it well. He will not apologize. He will not toe the line from the point of view of Erik ten Hag. Are you taking anybody's side? I want to know, are you taking anybody's side on this? I want to understand. Because this is probably not since Jose took on Martial and Pogba have I seen such a polarizing confrontation in football. You don't really get it with other clubs. Pep can call Phillips overweight, no one cares. He can get rid of one of the best fullbacks in the world, nobody cares. I get he's winning and he's got a better CV than Ten Hag, but we're talking here about practices. And surely we're not saying just because Joe Bloggs has won more than John Smith, he can behave differently. Or are we? Or is that literally the case? The more you win, the worse your behavior can be. Or should we be setting the same standards for everybody? I want to understand. Manchester United have also responded, and they have said that they have been taken back by Sancho's lack of contrition. The club believes that Ten Hag has only ever tried to help him reach his potential, as many of Sancho's teammates are also dismayed by his actions. And this is what I'm intrigued about here. So I'm gonna give you my take. Listen, I said, whose side are you on? Should we even be taking sides? And I think everyone is going to take a side to some degree. My side is Manchester United. I want the best for my club, as opposed to Ten Hag personally. My view is, as a general rule, I don't like my manager going public with these things because this can happen. But I also can understand that if the manager feels that he's tried everything to get this player to turn up to training on time, give his all in training, have the right attitude day to day, and he's almost exasperated, this is one last Hail Mary attempt of getting the best out of him. I can also understand the human element of Sancho reacting. Sancho has so much negative press about him. And I'm not talking people that will criticize his performances in games, because I have done that. And there have been times in match reactions where I've been fuming with things that he has or hasn't done. But I've seen so many people attacking his shyness or the clothes he wears, the way he dresses. And all of this for me is fairly immaterial. I look at some of the clothes that Marcus Rashford wears, and as maybe an older man, I look at it and go, what's he wearing? And that's just normal. And all you younglings are saying that's just weird. Wait till you get older, you'll do the same thing. But I think it's immaterial. The way he dresses, the music he listens to, the friends that he has, where he grew up on, whether he grew up on a housing estate or not, I don't know. None of that is like correlation doesn't equal causation. All of that stuff is off bounds to me and should be left alone. 110%. I'm looking here at professional behavior. His behavior at work, as it would be, not what he does outside of it, because I think that's, to a degree, irrelevant. Now, I don't like the manager taking it public. I understand why Sancho responded, but once he's done that, once they've both done it, Pandora's box is now open. And my view on this situation is this: we now can't suddenly close this up behind closed doors, because that ambiguity, leaving this situation in an ambiguous state, is only ever going to create conflict. And then myths become legends, become truths. Lies become propaganda, become truths. And this needs to be outed. And I'll give you an example, because Sancho's saying that there's inconsistencies. And I haven't seen any example of an inconsistency yet. What I see is he isn't wrong. It's very clear bias towards Anthony. Or, Anthony is stinking up the pitch, and never gets dropped. Remember, this isn't defending the manager. This is being fair. Ten Hag has not said that Sancho was dropped in the Arsenal game for not meeting standards on the football pitch, not playing well enough, not scoring enough goals. He said it was about training. So for me, there can only be an inconsistency if people are breaking the same rules in training, whether it's timekeeping, sprint times, the amount of push-ups they do. I don't know what it is. We now need specificity. We need to know the truth. The only people that will want ambiguity are the people that think their side of this argument is lying. And I'm on nobody's side per se. I'm on the club side. I want the manager to be backed by the club, but I only want the manager to be backed if he isn't lying. If Ten Hag is lying about Sancho, throwing him under the bus, punishing him for things that many other people are doing, we need to know, because that's going to kill the football club. That will ruin Man United. That is unsustainable behavior and will damage this squad. It means another manager comes in and you end up starting another rebuild. That's what's going to happen. So I want to know. And if the statements are going to be made by Sancho that this is going on, he now needs to go the whole hog. He now needs to go the whole hog, in my opinion, and tell us what has actually gone on. Or the manager now needs to come out and go, this is absolutely wrong. Anyone who's late to training, anyone who doesn't do these things gets dropped, gets moved on, and give examples of it. Maybe it's going to take other players to come out and say, well, this just isn't true. We need more specificity now as fans, because it's too ambiguous. And that's why people are bringing up these comments here are crazy. Anthony being bad on the pitch has nothing to do with this situation, because there hasn't been a claim by Man United that Sancho has been dropped due to his on-field performances. So it's Fugazi. Equally, I'm not saying people aren't breaking these rules as well, but we need to know who. And surely, Man United fans, you want to know who else is not training hard enough, because I certainly want to know, because I care about the club. But this is becoming a player versus manager battle, a battle of ideologies. Rivals are obviously getting themselves involved. But all in all, again, chaos is the enemy of progress. The club again is in turmoil and in mud, and all under the watchful eye of our disgraceful board and the Glazers. These things persist. And this is what happens, by the way, when you don't clear house fast enough, when you don't sell people that managers are not totally bought into. Listen, I think Ten Hag, in his eyes, thinks he's done the most he can to try and get the best out of Sancho. Maybe Sancho don't like Ten Hag. Maybe he doesn't want to be at the club anymore. Maybe he doesn't like the way he's trying to make him play. These things are fair. But then the club has to look at that and go, right, boom, we'll sell you, we'll move you on, we'll bring somebody else and he does want to work. But we've done this for 10 years. And this is why I'm imploring, whether you're a Sancho fan, Ten Hag fan, or what you should be is a Man United fan in this circumstance, please don't, I know it's a nuanced situation, but please look at the bigger picture as well. This has happened multiple times before. And the way the club handle things creates problems. Now, I think it's a good thing that they're backing the manager here. I typically don't believe at this moment in time that other people are breaking the rules that the manager believes Sancho is. However, I'm open-minded to it. I'm not polarized. There's no way. Of course, there's a possibility that's true. So I'm not going to ignore it. And I think Man United fans need to be open to this. But as I've already said, between Ten Hag and Sancho, Pandora's box is open. I don't want this to play out in public, but they both created it. So now we need it to come to fruition, flourish, and be put to bed in public as well. Otherwise, you know what? There's still conversations now that go back to the LVG and Jose days with player arguments, and there still is too much ambiguity about it. And it causes a divide, and a divided fan base is also damaging to the only thing in this I really care about, and that's Manchester United Football Club. One, in my opinion, I don't believe in miscommunication in this. I think that's the biggest fugazi in the world. One of Sancho or Ten Hag is lying. Or is Ten Hag is mistreating the player and isn't punishing others in the same way that are also breaking the same rules as him. And I truly believe that Man United fans need answers. That's just my take. I understand not everybody does. People think, screw Man United fans. Why do they need to know? What does it matter to them? I think we do. I really, really do. The situation's a mess. The club's always a mess. It's so disappointing to see. But I will end by saying one final thing. You may think Ten Hag's telling the truth and you think Sancho's a disgrace. It's a fair stance. You may think Sancho is telling the truth and Ten Hag is a disgrace. And again, you may have your reasons for that. I'd love to hear them. But let's not abuse. Let's not take this situation too far and turn this into an even bigger problem than it needs to be. Genuinely. I understand we all say things in the heat of the moment, which we may look back on and reflect and say, I shouldn't have said that. But we should be trying to create unity here and not more divide. That's just my take. And maybe it's because it's my football club, I care about it. If it was a rival club, I might be pulling on these loose threads and wanting to see it unravel. That's why I get why rivals want it to fall apart. Like the amount of them saying, Toby, you've got to get rid of Ten Hag here. It's killing your club. I don't quite trust you saying that. Why do you rivals want my club not to fall apart? I don't know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, it's gutting to see. I really hope they could fix this. I really hoped that Sancho could, we could get that fantastic player that we saw at Dortmund in a Man United shirt. I was desperate for it when we signed him. There's so much potential there, but it does feel like the end of the road has finally arrived. Look, hit the like button, subscribe, and all that jazz. Gutted, genuinely gutted. Speak to you again soon. Cheers, people. Bye-bye.